Van kindsbeen af, met raad en saam, met lyding en hoop, verdriet en saam staan jy staan. Jy is altyd daar. Dit wat ons doen, ons liefdes, ons vreugdes, ons plekke, ons thuistes, tot daar waar ons reis, jy is daar. Afrikaans is ons wese. Dis die taal waarin ons groeit, die taal is in ons bloed, is Afrikaans, vir ons mense. En ek stuur vir jou 'n sy, met 'n boodskap daarby, en waar jy is, sal jy dit kry, in Afrikaans vir ons mense. Al verander straatname, al word helde laat val, ons is steeds deur ons adem, ons kultuur, ons verhaal, dit sal altyd bestaan. Afrikaans is ons wese. Dis die taal waarin ons groeit, die taal is in ons bloed, is Afrikaans, vir ons mense. En ek stuur vir jou 'n sy, met 'n boodskap daarby, en waar jy is, sal jy dit kry, in Afrikaans vir ons mense. Ons is daarmee gebore, die taal waarvoor ons staan, dit vloei deur ons are, ons kinders praat het saam, dit sal altyd bestaan. Afrikaans is ons wese. Dis die taal waarin ons groeit, die taal is in ons bloed, is Afrikaans, vir ons mense. En ek stuur vir jou 'n sy, met 'n boodskap daarby, en waar jy is. Dis die taal waarin ons groeit, die taal is in ons bloed, is Afrikaans, vir ons mense. En ek stuur vir jou 'n sy, met 'n boodskap daarby, en waar jy is, sal jy dit kry, en Afrikaans vir ons mense. Afrikaans vir ons mense. Afrikaans vir my mense. Afrikaans vir ons mense.
I can imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been, you know?
What can be unburdened by what has been.
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 What we can see, what we believe can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be.
You know, going to my mind's going blank now. What's happening? What I can't remember. I'm gonna lose track. My mind's going blank now. What are you talking about? What the hell's going on here? Where the hell are we? My mind's going blank now. I can't remember. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. What am I doing here? My mind's going blank now. Where am I headed? I keep forgetting I'm president. Where am I? No idea. Last night on the television, I was on a telephone, rapidly rising, and with I don't know. COVID has taken more than 100 years. Look, here's why it's reflected in the NHEI. America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was afoot in we're going to seize the ill-begotten gains of Putin's kleptocracy. Yeah. NATO's purpose is to defend against aggression. Let me make that near and dear to you that you like to be able to. Anyway, my mind's going blank now. What's happening? What I can't remember. I'm gonna lose track. My mind's going blank now. What are you talking about? What the hell's I want to thank and recognize Dr. John Kingersong. Good song.
I can't get this to function at all.
My mind's going blank now. What's happening? What, I can't remember. I lose track. My mind's going blank now.
What are you talking about?
What the hell's going on here? Where the door? My mind's going blank now. I can't remember.
I don't know what the hell he's talking about.
What am I doing here? My mind's going blank now. Where am I headed? I keep forgetting I'm president. Where am I?
No idea. No idea. No idea. No idea.
And if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
Back once again, this is Chris Report, and he assured me that some Simon's down in Boulders. Folks, this is Chris Wyatt reporting from South Africa. Hello, folks. Welcome back to Chris Wyatt Reports. There's a little snafu there. That wasn't supposed to happen. I need engineers to run my show. Can't do it all by myself. Well, a video purporting to be tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of Christians in the streets of Paris last night protesting against the shameful, disgusting effort to destroy Western civilization and Christianity with the insulting opening ceremony, clearly trying to depict the Last Supper with disgusting behavior by vile, repulsive human beings. And lots of people denying that it was actually an insult to Christianity. We're not stupid. You are. And this is what purportedly happened in Paris last night. Let's take a look at this. You will notice that Christians are demonstrating peacefully, quietly, well-behaved, unlike radical Islamists who burn, loot, murder, dismember, behead, and otherwise destroy humanity. That is not Islam. That's radical Islamic fanatics. These are Christians. Once upon a time, we had Christian fanatics, but these are Christians who are well-behaved and who are protesting against the disgusting display that took place in Paris. Welcome back to the program, folks. It's so good to see you all once again on a Monday. Just another manic Monday. Wish it were a Sunday. Not really. I'm hoping maybe there'll be a special on steamed crabs today. Let me take a quick look at that. United States has surged back and forth in the men's gymnastics competition. A chance for a medal here. Brody Malone had a brilliant performance on the rings, as did his other teammates. They've gone up and down from 7th position up to 2nd position, down to 5th position, and now up to 3rd position. In good shape, actually closing ground on Japan, who has 1st place, to get a medal in this. Let's hope the USA can pull it off. They haven't had a medal since Beijing 16 years ago. Long overdue for the USA. Let me just do a quick look and see if there's any crab specials today. Sometimes on Monday, they have some Sunday blue crab. Oh, man, they had a blue crab special yesterday. What the heck? Aha, I missed it. Shoot. That's what I get for not checking my mail yesterday. Could have got crabs cheaper yesterday, but no special for today. So Brody Malone looks like he's getting ready to come back on the floor in the Olympics. Let's give you a quick Olympic update on the medal count. The Communist People's Republic of China surged to 1st place, but they now have been bumped back to 2nd place by the Republic of Korea. South Koreans now with 5 gold medals, 3 silver, and a bronze with 9 medals. The Chinese with 5, 2, 2, 9. So since silver is higher, they're in 2nd place. The Australians up in 3rd place, 4 gold, 3 silver, USA is behind France. Both have 12 medals. Both have 3, 6, and 3. But for some reason, I guess because France is the host, they get to be 5th. So both are tied for 5th place at the moment. USA now is in 4th position after the latest round. They're behind by 12 points. Don't understand the scoring in this men's gymnastics things. But Brody Malone, 3-time U.S. all-around champion who had a serious injury recently. His mother died of cancer, is about to take the floor. Is this the floor routine? I'm not sure. Take a look and see what they've got to say here.
Reach was a slow process.
He's all-around champion in 2021, 2022, and 2024. Brody Malone, this is an epic story. If the United States can medal in this event, it would be huge. Even a bronze would be an incredible achievement for the Americans. Is this the floor routine? No, it's not. Nicely done. Brody jumps. Excellent job. He's pretty psyched by that. So, excellent.
Back-to-back sticks, almost perfect vaults. USA.
Yeah, the vault nearly perfect by Brody Malone. Fantastic. So the USA still competing in that event right now live. Also in the women's hockey, South Africa was playing a short while ago. Let me take a quick look at that and see the current score. It was South Africa versus Argentina. South Africa women's hockey are now up 2-1 over Argentina in their competition. Water polo comes on at 12:30. China versus Netherlands. Fencing at 1. Handball. And then it's back to the women's Olympic sevens rugby. I'll be covering those games on Rugby Ascendant. 4 quarterfinals. All 4 of them will be here on the program. Let me say hello to everybody in the chats really quickly here. We've got Sedgefield, Hendo, Dylan, George in from Heckport, Vilma Rasmus. Gerald says, hello, Colonel. Interesting stuff in our midst. Somewhere is a snake in the grass. Maybe not what we think. Nothing is as it looks. No, nothing is as it looks. You can't trust things at the moment, folks. If I were you, I'd be a skeptic. And pretty much anybody I talk to, especially in the news media and in politics, I'd question anything they have to say. John Jarvis was found the discussion of IOL quite interesting. Well, that's good. Garrett Gillich is here. Arc Precision. Debbie's back again. Erica. Hey, Erica. Brian Lawrence and Alan Kotze. Diane McMeekin. Who else we got here? Sue Walsh says hello. Slippery Pickle's back. Slippery Pickle. I love that username. Charmaine. Hello, Charmaine. Hester Kotze. Welcome to you. James Bowie. Clive Streak says others back at home from Ootshorn. Okay. All right, so saying hello to me. And Sue says that was gross, vile, and awful, the Paris display. Yes, Charmaine says normal people always protest peacefully. Correctly, Christians are in fact singing. Yes, peacefully singing. Debbie says, you snooze, you lose, Chris. No special dinner. What special dinner was I supposed? Oh, you mean the crabs? Yeah, yesterday. Yep, that's right. Angelique, watching Chris, and indoor volleyball. Yeah, volleyball's awesome. That's not showing on my end. Indoor volleyball is pretty cool. I did attend that in the London Olympics, which was pretty epic. Although it was crazy when I first got there, nobody was in London because Boris Johnson was the mayor, and all the Londoners leave town in August anyway, so they weren't there to begin with because they go on holiday in Spain and the Costa Brava and into Mallorca and places like that and Tenerife, and so they're just not there to begin with. So London clears out quite a bit. The only reason that it doesn't clear out completely is because hundreds of thousands of tourists pour into it. But the hundreds of thousands of tourists were cautioned about coming to London because it was going to be too many people in London. So for the 2012 Olympics, when it started, the town was empty. I mean, it was awesome. You could jump on the tube and go anywhere. No lines, no rush, no crowds. You can go to shops, get a restaurant, walk in, get a table right away. It was incredible when I first arrived in London. And the only reason I went to London in 2012 was I happened to be stationed in Germany at the time. And they had kept so many tickets corruptly for the national Olympic committees, teams like Kazakhstan, Tajikistan get, all these tickets, and nobody's coming from those places. So they were having Michael Phelps in the pool, setting world records, Olympic records in the pool with like 40 people watching. It was embarrassing. It was like nobody wanted to go to the Olympics when in fact everybody wanted to go. So what they did in 2012 is they released those tickets. They took them back from those national Olympic teams and they released them into the pool. And if you lived in Europe, you could buy the tickets, but they wouldn't let people in Brazil, US, Australia, Japan buy the tickets. And those 4 countries I just mentioned are major sources of tourists for the Olympics. Brazil, United States, Canada, Japan, and Australia send lots of people. Tons of people go to the Olympics. They couldn't buy it. But I happened to be in Germany, so my IP address was Germany. So I went in, set up an account, and then I went into the lottery as the tickets came in and tried to buy tickets. I wound up going to, I think, 15 events at the Olympics, like 4 on the street. Things like the 50-kilometer walk run, and then the marathon and other things like that, the biathlon, things like that. So I was able to triathlon. I was able to see those things on the street. Plus, I got paid for 9 or 10 events, including a one soccer game, which was Team GB versus South Korea in Wales. That was interesting. But But yeah, it was a fascinating Olympics and fantastic stuff. But yeah, this Olympics is disgracing the world with the Olympic Organizing Committee and the city of Paris. Many Christian athletes competing will always support them. Yes, there are many Christian athletes. In fact, most of the athletes are Christian. James said we should boycott the Olympics. And Ark says what I just said. The women's hockey in South Africa are currently ahead right now, 2-1. Mike is in from Philadelphia. Welcome, Mike. Mark Purchase, Idaho Garden Girl. Angelique Nui, I already said hello to that. Hello to you. Tommy Sides, welcome. Sean Gunter, what retaliation can we expect from Israel? Well, they've already retaliated against Hezbollah. What else are you talking about? The Foul Olympics opening ceremony was very disgusting. Yep, the games have always been dedicated to Zeus and Apollo. Saw Apollo's crown, the first and last supper opening. Nothing new under the sun, but still a mystery to most. No, Slippery Pickle. No. No. The modern games are not dedicated to Zeus and Apollo, and it really doesn't matter. That was insulting. You want to do something to Zeus and Apollo, then dress up as Zeus and Apollo. Don't try to replicate the Last Supper and insult Christians. Come on, man. What else we got here? And Matthew Dixon's here. Olympics is boring. Well, it can be. Liam and R, welcome to you. Garrett Gillich. How's it going there? Alta Canaba. All right, let me just go check in on things very quickly here. USA is in first place now. Whoa, they surged to first place. This gymnastics team competition is very confusing. USA has jumped to first place with 86 points. I'm not sure how that happened. Must have been an incredible routine by Asher Hung from Texas. He is performing quite well. All right, let's get to some of the news here, folks. Jacob Zuma is no longer a member of the African National Congress. The disciplinary committee has booted his sorry behind from the party. Well, not a shocker. He formed the MK party, so why is he still in the ANC? The Miss and I are not watching any of the games. Well, I'm watching some of it because I'm covering it. Particularly the sevens. Anyway. All right. What did Matthew say that was so funny? Oh, hope all is well. I can smell some of y'all from here. Well, that's scary. Yeah. Well, all right. Let's get to the news, folks. Welcome back on a Monday, July 29th, 2024. And I'm wondering how my solar is doing this month. Not as well as last month. It's been a tough month for solar. It's been a good month, but I thought this was going to be a great month. It's great. It hasn't been great. It's been good, but not great. I thought we'd have a record in July, but it's been a lot of poor days here. Nonetheless, I'm over a megawatt for July, 1.05 megawatts. So not great, but not horrible. Yes. Anyway, so let's see. Month by month, last month, I need to look at the year here. Last month, set my record at 1.19 megawatts. Not going to break that this month. I've just got 29, 30, 31, 3 days, and I need to generate quite a bit to break that. So it's still going to be a good month. It will beat... It has already beaten June. July is the best. So, wait a second. We're in July. It has beaten May, so it won't beat June. All right, there you go, folks. Jacob Zuma officially expelled from the African National Congress, guilty of prejudicing the integrity by forming the MK party. Zuma's hearing was held last week. The party said he had a right to appeal within 21 days. And a lot of people concerned about this. The MK party is shocked that Jacob Zuma has been booed out of the ANC. Why are you shocked? Do you want him in MK or do you want him in ANC? Make up your mind. What's the point? Of course, we all know the purpose of MK was to destroy the current leadership of ANC, but that didn't work, so now they've got to regroup. Shocked MK party seeks legal advice on Zuma's expulsion. What legal advice? They don't have to keep him in a party. It's a private organization. Former President Jacob Zuma's party plans to seek legal advice after the ANC's National Disciplinary Committee ruled that he be expelled from the party. He was charged with bringing the party into disrepute. Zuma's expulsion follows the decision to establish a new political party. Wow. As tortuous as it may be for a charged member to find himself outside the ANC after devoting more than 6 decades of his life to the organization at great personal sacrifice, it would not be permissible for him to be a member of the MK and ANC at the same time. Great personal sacrifice, what, by stealing from South Africans, by ripping off people in the arms deal, by building a mansion he felt he was entitled to? He didn't, it's great personal sacrifice. What, serving in prison? Well, he's a criminal. He committed crimes. He's a criminal. So he's a criminal twice over now. Criminal under the National Party, a criminal under the ANC. He's a criminal. Simple as that. Jacob Zuma deserves no sympathy, nothing but bile. Zuma's close ally, Faith Mutambi, voted for his expulsion. Wow. That shocked some people. A leaked document dated 29 July shows that Zuma was fired by acting National Disciplinary Committee member Enver Surti, who received concurrence from Mutumbo, Mafu, Poliki, Millard, and Robinson Ramatete. Wow. The charged members found guilty of contravening Rule 25.17.17.4 of the ANC Constitution, read with subsection paragraph 2 for prejudicing the integrity or repute of the organization by acting in collaboration with a registered political party. The Mkhonto we Sizwe party, which is not in alliance with the ANC, in a manner to the aims, policies, and objectives of the ANC. Alarmingly, neither the former president, Zuma, nor his designated representative, Comrade Yangeni, were informed of this ruling, a stark violation of both the ANC Constitution and Constitution of South Africa. This is what is being said by a legal team. Well, who really cares? Who really cares? Hasta la vista, so long, good riddance, hit the road, Jack. We don't give a flying flip about you. United States still in first place here as it continues, but Britain is on the rings right now. And a nice performance there by Great Britain on the rings. USA currently ahead by over 1.1 point against Japan, 1.4 points against Canada. But this keeps changing back and forth. The men's gymnastics. Interesting stuff. Well, planes grounded. Flights diverted all over South Africa owing to a power problem at the Cape Town International Airport. What the hell is going on in South Africa? Planes grounded, flights diverted after power outage at Cape Town International Airport. According to Airports Company South Africa, a parastatal of the airport is experiencing a power supply challenge, imparting runway lights, airside fire rescue, and air traffic navigation services. Flights are not able to land or depart. Technicians were on site trying to solve the problem. Flights were diverted to Port Elizabeth, Joburg flight to Cape Town, Durban to Cape Town, Joburg to Cape Town, Durban to Cape Town, Joburg to Cape Town, Joburg to Cape Town. 6 flights diverted to PE. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but Port Elizabeth is a long-ass way from Cape Town. I feel bad for all the people dumped in PE tonight when they should be in Cape Town. And flights were diverted to OR Tambo, Joburg to Cape Town, which turned around and flew back. That's FA 123, and a flight from HLA. Which one's that? I know that. Anyway, so yeah, FlySAF Air had significant delays, said be expected for this. Now, the airfield is back up apparently, but what the hell's going on in South Africa? Didn't Paris experience a power outage after the ceremony? Paris has experienced multiple power outages. The trains were sabotaged. The power was sabotaged. The entire Olympics are being sabotaged. America's clawing its way back against China in volleyball. Thank you, Angelique. What's the current score? That could change quickly. Libyans. Now, I posted this on Twitter, and someone tried to accuse me of being sensationalist because I said these are guys that are there. What are they training for? Terrorism? And the guy sent the link back. Said this is a proper training base. Well, maybe it is a proper training base that's used by these government services. So what? That isn't what we're talking about. I'm talking about 95 Libyans who lied on their visa application to go to a military camp in Mpumalanga province to get training in things that they didn't go there for. So I'm not wrong. Whoever tells me I'm wrong is the one that's wrong. Libyans arrested at South Africa training firm linked to a group which once tried to topple the government in Libya. 95 Libyans arrested at an illegal military base in Mpumalanga will appear in court today, reportedly linked to a Libyan strongman who allied with Russia and once tried to overthrow the UN-backed government in Tripoli. Wow. So this guy, General Khalifa Haftar, close ally of the Wagner group. So these Libyans are linked to the Wagner group. Nothing to see here. According to my critics on Twitter, there's nothing to see here. Nothing at all. Bullshit. There's something to see here. You got an entire continent where the Libyans could have gone to do this training, and they came to South Africa? Well, VBS victims say, hey, the EFF wants land return. How about they return the money they stole from us? Ooh, shots fired, ladies and gentlemen, shots fired. VBS victims, the Mail and Guardian says EFF wants stolen land return, but they won't pay back our looted life savings. Look at Juju standing there drinking champagne. Arrogant asshat that he is. Victims of VBS Mutual Bank scandal who lost their life savings say it's ironic the EFF members are demanding the return of stolen land while they're failing to pay back the money they allegedly received unlawfully from the bank. Aubrey Mwalaudzi, who lost 2.5 million rand through the collapse of VBS, said he and other victims were not worried about whether those involved went to jail. They simply want them to pay the money back. The EFF says they want the land, which was taken, but they have taken our money and they do not want to bring it back. They've got double standards. On the other hand, they want the land back. On this side, we want our money, which they took and they won't bring back. The whole charade that is the economic freedom fighters is collapsing as we speak, folks. Absolutely collapsing. Well, here's a interesting claim by greenies on the internet. They're claiming that South Africa now has 12 gigawatts of wind and solar generation capacity. Is that really the case, ladies and gentlemen? 12 gigawatts. South African homes and businesses added 3.5 megawatts of 3.5 gigawatts of rooftop solar in 2 years. It's just wonderful to see how fast electricity generation capacity can be added from rooftop solar. Right. According to data from South Africa's national electricity utility company, Eskom, there are about 2,264 megawatts of rooftop solar installed as of July 2022. According to Eskom's latest update, South African homes and businesses now installed nearly 6 gigawatts. Well, we know that. 6 gigawatts. So why does that equate to 12 gigawatts? Is that because the government has it themselves? I guess so. Here you go. Current renewable energy installed. Concentrated solar photovoltaics. There you go. Which is solar thermal. That's 500 megawatts. Solar PV, 2287. Wind, 3400. Hybrid plants, 150 for a total of 6.4 gigawatts. So where's the 12 come from? Don't get it. Anyway, so problem is demand still exceeds supply because Eskom can't get it done. They can't get it done. Well, China and South Africa celebrate the 97th anniversary of the People's Liberation Army. Yay, commies. In the interest of full disclosure, while stationed in Liberia and in the diplomatic community, I was required to attend PLA birthday celebrations. They didn't come to ours. We had the Army celebration, but the PLA every year made a big deal about it in African embassies in the diplomatic community. But we went to it in our dress uniform. And here you see our friend, along with Angie Motseka, the 30% defense minister, and the Chinese ambassador. Funny how this photo says Defense and Military Veterans Minister Angie Motseka and Ambassador to China, South Africa Wang Pu officiated a reception, but they don't mention the attaché or the deputy defense minister. We all know who that is. Yeah, so celebrating the Chi-Coms. This is a party that's murdered millions of people and destroyed liberty and freedom, and their military is responsible for it, and we're saluting them? Yeah, police arrest 4 people for Orkney Tavern shooting that claimed 8 lives. Wait a second, I thought only America had mass shootings. Apparently South Africa has quite a few too. We've documented at least 10 or 15 in the past several months. These mass shootings taking place all over South Africa. Northwest Police have arrested 4 people in connection with a mass shooting in a tavern in Kanana, outside of Orkney. Police spokesman Brigadier Sabata Mokowabone said the 4 people, Lesotho nationals, would appear in court on multiple charges, including 8 counts of murder. 8 people killed. Why are Lesotho residents in Northwest Province murdering South Africans? That is an interesting development. A KwaZulu-Natal primary school teacher was shot dead, gunned down in front of her pupils. This is out of control, folks. 2 gunmen shot a primary school teacher on Monday in full view of pupils and her colleagues at the Pikiswayo Primary School in Zuma, north of Durban. Wow. The motive for the attack is unknown. Heartbroken by the loss of a dedicated educator, thoughts and prayers are with the family and school community during this devastating time. Not to mention the trauma suffered by the children watching a teacher gunned down in front of them. What are these people doing in schools? Why aren't there security guards at schools? Why isn't there proper security at schools? Hell, why aren't there flush toilets in schools? Hell, why aren't there qualified teachers in these schools? Oh, because the ANC runs the country. I'm sorry, I forgot. By the way, folks, don't think that I'm just, picking on South Africa. There'll be a story if you hang around for the news about a mass shooting in Harrisburg, right down the road from me, 15 minutes away. That's coming in the news when we get to America. So don't run off. Hey, Dr. Eric Mokwetsi Masisi has kept the borders of Botswana closed to South African agricultural exports, and he's proud of it. Our ban on imported vegetables was a powerful move to boost our local farmers and economy. This initiative empowers Botswana by promoting self-sufficiency and improving livelihoods. Support fresh, homegrown produce for a stronger Botswana. And you know what I say to that? Wrong. Protectionism is never the answer. Botswana is a country that should not have market vegetable farming, unless you want to put in greenhouses. This is ridiculous. This comical video, I'm not going to show you all of it. Look at that. Looking like some sort of, Southern American sort of thing. That's what it's looking like here. But this is 2 dudes talking to each other about what the benefits are of the border not being open to products from South Africa.
Hey, can't get over the border either.
Nah.
What are you hauling?
Vegetables.
Bad luck. We're going to be sitting here for a while. Masisi has imposed a ban on importing vegetables from South Africa.
I know. But at least that will bring down prices for poor South Africans. Help support Botswana farmers in the agriculture. And that will bring down prices for them too.
Okay.
Bullshit. Bullshit. I'm sorry. That's not how protectionism works. It drives up the prices for Botswana and it makes those things scarce because Botswana can't produce sufficient vegetables for its marketplace. That's the reason why they come in from South Africa. That's also much more efficient. Kind of like chicken exports from America to South Africa. Our poultry industry is much more efficient than South Africa's. So anyway, Mozambique has won a major lawsuit, and I'm not sure why they've won the lawsuit. Strange. This is over the tuna scandal that they initiated, that they took bribes for, and now foreign governments are penalizing businesses for paying bribes there. I can understand that. Sanctioning a business for committing a crime, that's fine. But giving the government of Mozambique money when its officials are the ones who stole in the first place, this makes no sense whatsoever. Mozambique wins a United Kingdom lawsuit against Privivest over the tuna bond scandal. Mozambique has substantially won its $3.1 billion lawsuit in London's High Court against Emirati Lebanese shipbuilder Privivest for allegedly paying bribes in relation to the decade-old tuna bond scandal. The African Republic sued Privivest and his now late owner Issachar Safa. Allegedly, they paid bribes to Mozambican officials and Credit Suisse bankers. Judge Robin Knowles said today that he'd ruled substantially in favor of Mozambique in his written ruling. The judge said Mozambique is entitled against Mr. Safa and the company to a payment of just over $825 million. Why did they get payment of $825 million when they took bribes? Look, if you want to sanction that company and that individual and then put the money in the British Treasury, okay. But $825 million, that's absolutely insane. Yeah, Mozambique's case in London was brought against Credit Suisse. That was settled after it was taken over by UBS. Yeah. Anyway, crazy stuff. Mozambique said more than $136 million was paid to secure favorable terms for 3 projects. So $136 million in bribes was paid, but they get $875 million. And this for what? Damages? That's just absolutely crazy. Doesn't make any sense. Construction of the Inga Dam project still not happening 40 years later. The 42-gigawatt world's largest hydroelectric power, the Grand Inga Dam scam, the DRC, is one of the world's most ambitious projects. Its implementation would eclipse the world's largest hydroelectric dams, such as the Three Gorges Dam in China. The project is intended to have a total installed capacity of over 42,000 megawatts, or 42 gigawatts. That one dam would produce more electricity than every power plant in South Africa. One dam would produce more power than all of South Africa's power generation capacity. It would all be through hydroelectric. Of course, this had major disruption to the land, the landscape, the flora, the fauna, and the flow of the Congo River. Well, this project's been around forever, and it actually started construction in 1995, but nothing has really gotten very far. The government built the first and second installments, Inga 1, Inga 2, in 72 and 82, but it's really not producing. The world's largest hydroelectric project in DRC is shrouded in mystery. Yep, following a decision by the government in 2018 to change the Inga 3 concept from 4.8 gigawatts to 11 gigawatts at a cost of $18 billion. Wow. The total project is scheduled to cost $80 billion. Unfortunately, only 1.7 gigawatts of power is currently generated after 40 years of discussing and building the Grand Inga project. So you think it's going to happen in our lifetimes? Probably not. Probably not. Well, it's not famine, folks. If 755,000 people are starving, that's not a famine, according to Sudan's agriculture minister. Seriously? Seriously? Is this guy smoking crack? By the way, let me check in on the Olympics because I'm curious now. USA's dropped to third now behind China and Great Britain. Ah, damn. Brody Malone has just finished his routine. And so the USA is in third after his performance. I guess he's not having the best of days. Anyway, back to the story. Well, it's not famine. You can't call it famine if only 755,000 people out of 50 million go hungry, according to Sudan's agriculture minister. 755,000 are not a significant percentage compared to the total population. They cannot call that famine, said Akbar al-Bushiri in a news conference. Are you serious? Are you serious, buddy? 755,000 people just don't matter to Sudan's agriculture minister? Well, that shows you about politicians, what they care. Dozens and dozens of Russian mercenaries from the Wagner group killed in an attack in Mali. Well, hey, I told you it wasn't going to go well for the Russians in the Sahel. Idiots. Malian officers hired Wagner to help fight insurgencies by jihadists and Tuareg rebels, but kicking out the Americans and the French looks like it wasn't such a good plan. Tuareg rebels seeking autonomy in West African country Mali killed dozens of Russian mercenaries last week in what appeared to be one of the deadliest attacks on Russian personnel since Moscow first sent Wagner Group guns for hire in 2017. It's unclear exactly how many Russians were killed. It took place near the northern border with Algeria and targeted a column of Russian fighters and Malian troops but several Telegram channels associated with the Russian military and mercenary groups represent as a major setback in Moscow's efforts. Wow. So, the Tuaregs are spanking the Russian Wagner group in Mali. Not a surprise, folks. Well, the Paris Olympics has issued an apology, but it comes too late as the company pulls ads over the Last Supper parody. The 2024 Paris Olympics apologized for the Last Supper scene at the opening ceremony featuring the drag queens, a segment that prompted one tech company to pull its ads amid rising calls for boycott. Clearly, there was never an intention to show disrespect to any religious group, said Paris spokesperson Anne Decamp at the press conference. Looking at the results of the poll that we shared, we believe that this ambition was achieved. If people have taken any offense, we are, of course, really, really sorry. Well, Anne Decamp, you're a vile, repulsive human being and a liar. You're a liar. Apology marked a change of tone from the previous day's statement, defending the provocative tableau of Leonardo da Vinci's Last Supper. Wow. At least one company has pulled out. C-Spire, a telecommunications company based in Mississippi, said on X it would remove its advertising from Olympics, which is being broadcast on NBC, its main channel, its Peacock platform, and associated networks such as CNBC and the USA Network. We were shocked by the mockery of the Last Supper during the opening ceremonies of the Paris Olympics, said the company, the sixth largest U.S. wireless provider. C-Spire will be pulling their advertising from the Olympics. Well, they only one so far, but hopefully more will do it and teach them a lesson. NBC should learn a lesson, too, for airing that garbage. United States back in first place now. Wow, it's just up and back. China, Japan, second and third, as the Brits drop to fourth. Wow, this is crazy stuff, this floor routine, this men's gymnastics. Well, the USA, one of its best performances coming up in just a moment, and they are in the lead right now. But it's a very slim lead, 0.16 points ahead of China, 1.5 points ahead of Japan. That's a very narrow lead. Far-left activist has been arrested over the rail sabotage in France, but it wasn't released by the French government. It was released by the media. Seriously? French Interior Minister Gérald Darmanin said Monday he retweeted a media story that reported that a far-left activist was arrested in connection with the sabotage on France's high-speed rail network. The government has not publicly announced any arrests since the attack, which took place hours before the Olympic Games. So what the hell? Why isn't the government announcing it? Why is it being announced by a government official? Well, the triathlon has been canceled, swimming events in Paris, because of the disgustingly vile Seine River. For a century, swimming in the Seine has been prohibited because of the effluent and the pollution that the French pour into their river. Well, a lot of concerns and a lot of propaganda came from the Paris Olympic Committee, from the International Olympic Committee, telling us to be assured that the Seine River was safe to swim in. Lots of morons jumped into this toxic mix and said, look at us, we're swimming in the Seine, it's so safe. Well, the leftists tried to convince us otherwise. Well, they've had to cancel events. Concerns about the water quality in the Seine River led officials to call off the swimming portion of the Olympic triathlon training session for a second straight day today. Organizers overseeing the event at the Paris Games are optimistic that triathletes will be able to swim in the city's famed waterway when the competition starts tomorrow. I'm not confident. World Triathlon made the decision to cancel swim workout early Monday following a meeting over water quality in the Seine, which is closely linked to the weather. A rain deluge Friday opened a ceremony and showers persisted, forcing some tennis matches and the skateboarding competition to be postponed. But now the filthy, disgusting Seine River is postponing part of the triathlon. I remember when athletes swam in the Serpentine in London in 2012. I saw that and I was like, they're swimming in that muck. There's so much duck shit in that damn pond. I mean, I'm surprised I would never go in that pond. It's full of goose goo and duck dew. Man, the Serpentine in Hyde Park would never find me ever in my life swimming in that disgusting water. But the triathletes did it. Hungary's Viktor Orban says, hey, NATO's declining and Russia's got something to say. My goodness. He says Russia stands to gain as the irrational West loses power. Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban said on Saturday Russia's leadership was hyper-rational and that Ukraine would never be able to fulfill its hopes of becoming a member of the European Union or NATO. Well, that second part is true. I don't know about hyper-rational, but the second part is true. They will never be able to join EU or NATO unless the fix is in. Turning our attention to Latin America, where Maduro has claimed victory in a disputed election in Venezuela. Nicolas Maduro declared the winner of Venezuela's presidential elections as opposition claims irregularities. The head of the National Electoral Council said Maduro secured 51% of the vote, overcoming opposition candidate Edmundo Gonzalez, who got just 44%, according to those clowns. Well, Maduro and opposition are locked in a standoff as both have claimed victory in the vote. Both of them saying they've won it. Venezuela's opposition and President Maduro were locked in a high-stakes standoff after yesterday's election as each claimed victory in the presidential vote. So The streets of Caracas were a mix of anger, tears, and loud pot banging. Well, the communists continue to rule. Both Venezuela, strongmen, and opposition claim victory, and U.S. voices serious concerns about the election. With 80% of the votes counted, Maduro won more than 51% of the vote, besting Democratic Unitary Platform candidate Edmundo Gonzalez Ureta, who gained just 44%. But the opposition painted a very different picture. Opposition leader Maria Corina Machado said in a news conference that their own records show their candidate had received 70% of the vote against Maduro's 30%. How does she get that? How does she get that figure? Look, I'd love to see Maduro gone, but where does she get this 70 versus 30? That doesn't make any sense. What information does she have? Well, the Canadians who've broken treaties are paying a price for it now. Yep. Canada owes the First Nations for treaty breaches, according to the top court. A negotiated settlement expected to be sizable after Canada's top court ruled that the government made a mockery of the 1850 Robinson treaties. So people alive today will have to pay for money that should have gone to other people a century ago. Why are Canadians now going to have to pay for this? This is BS. What they should simply do is just make First Nations exempt from taxation until the bill is paid. Treaties signed more than 170 years ago between Canada's British colonial settlers and several indigenous groups have not been honored by successive Canadian governments, which for generations deprived the First Nations of fair compensation for resource revenue, according to the top court. Supreme Court of Canada ordered the government to enter into negotiations to determine the compensation it owes to groups such as the Obajiwa for breaking its promises. Wow. They are owed 1.8 billion Canadian dollars, but Joseph Stiglitz, the leftist historian, always sticking his nose in other people's business, claims that they're actually owed upwards of 90 billion Canadian dollars. Joseph Stiglitz should shut up and sit down. This is the man who has for generations fraudulently influenced university students with his leftist views. No, thank you. Biden and Harris call for Supreme Court term limits, violation of the Constitution. They are going around the Constitution yet again. And they want limits on presidential immunity. Well, that's also against the Supreme Court. The open assault on the Supreme Court by the executive branch is disgusting and vile, and that alone disqualifies Harris for presidency. She's unqualified to be the president because of her effort to undermine the separation of the three co-equal branches of government and try to subjugate the courts to the executive. Approved term limits for presidency over 75 years ago, and President Biden believes they should do the same for the Supreme Court. Congress did not approve term limits. That's a lie. The Constitution was changed. You have to change the Constitution. That's not Congress. Congress passes a law. The states vote on it, the sovereign states. 3/4 of states ratify it. It becomes an amendment to the Constitution. Joe Biden is a liar. Harris is a liar. The Democrats lie every single day. They have no idea what they're talking about because they're intentionally misleading people who were denied access to learning civics and American government when they were in school by these leftists. And they want a binding code of conduct for the Supreme Court. The executive branch has no control over the judicial branch or the legislative branch. They do not decide what the code of ethics are. That is up to the court. Simple as that. It's the way the system was set up. If you don't like it, then move to Canada. Well, fishermen are angry over so-called experts. Fishermen ripped Senator Elizabeth Warren's plan to silence them. And in another effort to go around the Supreme Court and the Constitution, Elizabeth Warren is trying to pass a law that will allow for the Chevron decision to be put back in place. America's seafood leaders are pushing back on new plans from Demon Rats on Capitol Hill to revive a legal doctrine that fishermen say threatens to silence them. On Tuesday, Pocahontas Warren, the Demon Rat from Massachusetts, led several of her Demon Rat colleagues in introducing the Stop Corporate Capture Act, which she says is aimed at stopping corporations from hijacking the government. The bill would codify what's known as the Chevron doctrine, a legal theory established in the 1980s that says if federal regulation is challenged, the court should defer to the expertise of the agency. But last month, the Supreme Court overruled that bullshit, and the result is a lawsuit filed by fishermen against the government. Wow. So-called expert bureaucrats approved the Vineyard Wind turbines that are falling apart in Senator Warren's home state, spreading debris from Nantucket to Cape Cod. Fishermen have always known that offshore wind will be a disaster for our oceans, but alphabet soup agencies use Chevron deference to silence us, said Jerry Lehman, CEO of the New England Fishermen's Stewardship Association. Without Chevron, fishermen finally have a chance to protect their jobs, heritage communities, and the marine environment from regulators and developers who are industrializing our ocean. Wow. Of course, earlier this month, the blade from a football field-size wind turbine snapped, sending debris and shards of fiberglass in the ocean, much of which washed ashore in Nantucket. And this evil Pocahontas Elizabeth Warren is trying to illegally circumvent the Supreme Court and bring this bullshit, the Chevron doctrine, back into play. She's an evil troll, and she's in the pocket of corporate interests, just like most of the Democrats are, like Nancy Pelosi with Visa, and she's in the pockets of all these banks. J.D. Vance is on the campaign trail this week, and Shapiro and Gretchen Whitlam will be rallying here in Pennsylvania. Governor Josh Shapiro of Pennsylvania and Gretchen Whitlam of Michigan will hold a rally on behalf of Ms. Harris today. Yep, outside Philadelphia. Yeah, what the hell is going on in Harrisburg? What is going on in Harrisburg? 3 shootings, all within a couple hours in Harrisburg. Clearly, the criminals are ruling the roost. Well, the big news, of course, today was Jacob Zuma was booted out of the African National Congress. Good riddance. So long. Goodbye. The USA is now in second place, trailing China, and a Chinese dude is on the rings at the moment. Let me take a look at what's going on in the hockey. Where are we at here? Go back to this one. And is it still 2-1? Is that still going on? Let me go back and reload the schedule here for the Olympics. Here we go. So men's tennis, it's USA won the first set. They're trailing in the second set against Canadians. Volleyball, USA have won 2 games. China's won 2. And archery, Korea gets the gold medal. They win 5-1 over France. So France gets a silver medal there. And then we've got men's canoe. It goes to France, gold, silver to Great Britain, and Slovakia gets the bronze. Artistic gymnastics are watching. So I guess the women's still 2-1, South Africa over Argentina. In hockey, is that it? Crazy. Water polo now, China's ahead of Netherlands 5-3. So things are still continuing there. Let me do a recap on the medals now, see if it's changed. And it has. Korea is still in first place. Japan now has 11 medals, but they're in second place. Then we have China with 9, France with 14, USA with 14 medals. Australia has 7, and they're in 5th place. But even though South America has 14 medals because they have 4 gold, America just has 3. U.S. needs to start getting some gold medals here. South Africa still with that single medal, if I'm not mistaken. Let's take a look. Maybe they got a second medal here. No, they did get a second medal. They get a second bronze. Cycling, mountain bike cycling, South Africa gets a bronze. So 2 medals for South Africa, both bronze medals. They're in 23rd position. Well, it's actually more 23 teams, but there you go. So USA in second place in that gymnastics thing. So let's see if they can get a medal. Right. I think you're the only one getting buffering there. All right. Let's see what the chat's got to say. Volleyball versus China. What retaliation can we expect? It was already there. Okay. Where are my timestamps? This is very annoying. Okay. Tommy Sides says, people worldwide now have an entirely different view on France, and that is not good for them. Well, I've had that view of France for a long time. It's not a good one. Last time I checked, okay, got it. We're not transgender dudes with balls hanging out and a fat duck smurf. Thank you for that, Arctic. That's correct. Zeus and Apollo were not transgender dudes with balls hanging out. You are correct. Or a fat duck smurf. Technically didn't form MK, just expropriated. Okay, there you go. I'll give you that. Olympic opening with a parody of Last Supper is even has Muslims complaining. Wow. 1 year ago, we had the meet and greet in Tiger's Milk with the beekeepers. Really? Wow. Was it 1 year ago? Interesting. Didn't Paris experience? Yes, I got that. Okay. My wife spent the night at the PE airport. No restaurants open, no food, no drinks, and no help from SAF Air. Well, that's not good for SAF Air. That's really a big mistake on their part. They should have catered food and brought it in. That's going to hurt them. But the bottom line is they rule the roost in South Africa with no real competition for most of their routes. But it's a shame for Fly SAF Air. They should have. This is where airlines lack leadership. When something like this happens, there should be an immediate drill, immediate plan. There should be people notified. There should be people springing action, taking care of customers that get there, ensuring their bags are taken care of, getting lodging for them or getting meals for them, keeping them informed. Not a single airline in the world is set up to do this. None of them do this even remotely well. It pisses me off. I should be working for an airline, and this would be my contingency. I would have this all set up. SAF Air should hire me and pay me 4 million rand a year so that I can solve this problem for them. That's what they should do. I'll just tell you that right now. If SAF Air is willing to pay me 4 million rand, I'll come to South Africa and work there, and I will solve this problem. And whenever you have a delay with SAF Air, you will be informed, or the people who not inform you will be fired. You will be aware, should you be diverted or delayed, you will be taken care of, meals, water. You will not be abandoned by the airline. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. USA came back and won the second set, it looks like, Angelique. Jack says, greetings, trust you're all well managed and knock the icicles off. Okay. Icicles, wow. Oh, my 5 pence says we don't support the French Olympics at all. Well, I'm with you. Are the teams briefed before the games concerning the opening ceremony theme? I don't know. Some may have chosen not to participate due to their beliefs. Yeah, I think that would have been the case. And Mo 203010 AI recording says greetings. Okay, welcome to you. That's a more, I think. Slippery Pickle. Also wonder where that school is that Julius promised to build. Yep, never built it. It's been 5-6 years now. Blame against the FF5 years to build a private school or don't re-elect us. Exactly. We installed solar and I refuse to connect it to the grid. I will not give them free power while they overcharge me. Well, there you go, Charmaine. I'm with you on that one. Well, my electricity prices actually went down this time. It was crazy, almost a full cent. At first, I looked at my bill and I'm like, wait a second. I got cheated. Because they didn't give me the full rate. But then I looked and they charged me the same rate. So last month, per kilowatt hour. Now, this is the base rate. There's all kinds of charges going top of that raise it. Last month, the base rate was 17 plus cents per kilowatt hour. This time it was 16.6, so over half a cent less per kilowatt hour. But that's because they charge half a cent less. I'm not sure how they got cheaper power this month, but they did. Unfortunately, I used all of my positive balance plus all of my credits that were built up, so I'm back to zero balance now, and I had to actually pay $9 for my electricity this month. Last month I paid nothing. Last 2 months. There's been, I guess my air conditioning must be burning up a lot of power because I'm not really using anything else. Computer and the aircon, not really doing anything else. But anyway, yeah, so my power bill has surged. Still paying almost nothing, but I have no credits left now. So hopefully this month we'll get some more, because last month was my best electricity generating month to date, and I wound up using all my credits. That's crazy. Let's see. Charles Van Onslen's here. No security guards in South African schools. I know that, George. It was a rhetorical question. It's a shame. In South Africa, someone is murdered every 17 minutes, 14 seconds. That's probably accurate. Elsa Vermeulen. Hello to you. Robert Redkin, welcome to you. Moonchild is back. Good to see you again. Debbie says Samoan boxer coach died. Yep. Also, the sister-in-law of one of the American athletes died. Just 26 years of age. Died in a medical emergency. You want to bet? Wonder how many boosters she had. 26-year-old dies. Wow. Diane, do you have any news on White Zulu with no Renewable channel? I haven't seen her in ages. Fiona pops in here occasionally. Let me just write her a message real quick and see if she's around. I've just sent her a message. I see her pop in the groups. So anyway, safely at home, recovering from hip replacement, but her MS is getting better for her. Okay, well, thank you for that, Debbie, for the update. Chantel is back. Looks like our cuts a damn sure if that one's working. What is done no matter what. That's true. You can't take it back. So I'm going to talk about another situation here in just a moment. Let me get through the chat. E. coli would be their takeaway from that swim. Exactly. South Africa wastes up 10.3 million tons of food each year. I'm not surprised. We all waste food. So does that mean Durban can host the Olympics now? E. coli. My goodness. Fleshin's in. Carlos Putter's back. Welcome to you. Backwoods here. Shades of November. It should be exciting this year. What is Shades of November? And my French Huguenot ancestors, I think part of poop-infested Paris or belong to us, demand Boer restitution in France. That's good. That's good. Out of the blue, I got buffering. Thanks for nothing, YouTube. Yeah, it happens. Several large X-class CMEs from the sun that are hitting coronal mass ejections that are hitting the Earth for the next 72 hours. Internet will be wonky. Yep. And what else you got there? Concerned prepaid electric is more expensive. It shouldn't be. Moonchild says, I just love the way IOC made a huge apology to the entire world for mixing up North-South Korea, but nothing about the opening up. Yeah, exactly. The IOC is an evil leftist organization, and it needs to be taken down a notch. Let me check in on the Olympics, and now, oops, they just had up. So Brody Malone looks like he's getting ready to do something again. Let's see what's going on.
Sort of the second half.
They're not saying anything. They had the score up, but then they took it down. So I think we're going to take a break. That's the end of the first round here. The Americans don't look overly excited. So it'll be an hour and 14 minutes before they go back to the pommel horse for Americans. I don't know how they did here. Looking to see. An odd collection of fellas. Kind of a geeky-looking white guy, a regular-looking white guy, a black guy, Asian guy. So USA's in second place now behind China. China 131 points, USA 1 point behind. Okay, I'm not really sure. Oh, no, it's still going on. The high bar is next. Okay. Anyway, crazy stuff with the Olympics there. Men's really don't understand it. High hopes, everything going up and never comes down with prices. That's all that, what's that? Ernst is here. Welcome, Ernst. Grasshopper, welcome back. Maduro, the Maduro situation. Thank you for that. Backwoods Law, I understand. Well, gentlemen, ladies, saw that. Be aware of the networks. It could go down the U.S. What could go down as the U.S. did? Excluding water and electricity, my Joburg bill increased with $800 just on property tax and sewage fees. It coughed up for a borehole and went off grid with solar. Joburg's bill's a total mess. Yep, it is. We are using LED light, which we use during load shedding now every evening. Okay. Moonchild's very excited to see Chantel. And Debaram is here. Welcome all of you. What I want to talk about, one other thing here. It's an important issue that's not really being discussed. USA's in third place. I can't keep track of this. It's up and down. Let me take a look at the schedule here. South Africa. Well, that says 0. I know it's not 0. It was 2-1 earlier. Let's see. Come on. There we go. Okay, 11:30. Ooh, Argentina's ahead of the women 4-2. Women's hockey. South Africa's losing now. Oof. Ooh, that's not going well. That's not going well. USA in fourth place now. Oof, something bad must have happened. Not looking so good. All right. And the one story I want to talk about was about an American who is being abused for her comments on Twitter. Uneducated Americans. Tiffany Haddish criticized for Zimbabwe supermarket video. Actor and comedian Tiffany Haddish, no idea who she is, has faced a backlash after posting a video expressing her surprise at a well-stocked supermarket in Harare. The video posted on X, formerly known as Twitter, showcased Haddish exploring the store, expressing her amazement at the range of products available, saying, "Look at this grocery store. It's huge. It's absolutely humongous. In Africa, baby. Yeah, believe it, believe it, believe it, believe it." Well, she doesn't say anything stupid there. Let's see what she has to say.
Hey, y'all. So I'm out here in Zimbabwe, in Harare, and look at the grocery store. They got a grocery store.
So she's being criticized for that video. Fair enough. But what I have to say about this is the comments are people ridiculous. So what they had to say is Renaissance X said, "I think she's just excited to be there." And she sent a video, "I'd like to demystify. Give her grace and blame the Western education system, media, and how they educated us on Africa. I had to educate myself about the greatness of Africa. I'm own curiosity. Most people won't be demystified until they touch the African soil themselves or do their own research, sadly." Well, Renaissance X, I've lived all over the continent of Africa. You have not, obviously. And most Africans have never stepped foot into a modern commercial grocery store. They have not. They have not. And in fact, Zimbabweans are only alive today through the good graces and generosity of the American people who've given billions of dollars of food aid to keep starving Zimbabweans alive for the past 20 years through repeated bouts of hunger. Plus 3.5 million Zimbabweans fleeing the country, nearly 3 million living in South Africa and surviving there. It's the only reason Zimbabweans haven't starved to death to date. The fact that a grocery store in Harare is stocked with lots of groceries is not a sign that Africa is great and wonderful. I've lived all over the continent, and I can tell you of Africa's 1.4 billion people, probably only a couple 100 million people have ever in their lifetimes experienced what she did walking into a well-stocked grocery store. It simply doesn't have it. In Liberia, there were no grocery stores, not a single one. People bought their food, if they bought it from someone, on a shack on the side of the road when I was there, and I know this quite well. The same thing all over the continent. Botswana is being an exception. Most Malawians get their food not from supermarkets, but from local stalls. Most Africans never experience a supermarket. These people are just asses in their rudeness and Western education. It's nothing to do with Western education. She needs to educate herself more about Africa because she went to some country that had a supermarket. And in many countries, like Zimbabwe, that supermarket, the only people who can afford it are the ZANU-PF corrupt politicians and the wealthy. So just stop the nonsense, these idiots. Here's some more comments. View 09's expressed frustration. The ignorance of some black Americans is astonishing. They need to familiarize themselves with their roots when they're still young and not get surprised by basic things in Africa when they turn up here in their 60s. Well, okay, Haddish is not in her 60s. And yes, there is a lot of ignorance by black Americans about Africa, mostly because they think black like me, which is not the case. You're not African. African American is a joke. It's a fake description. You are American. You're not African American, you're American. You want to say you're Black American? You can say you're Black American, but you're not an African American. There's no such thing. It's garbage. This is utter nonsense. It's a false appropriation. It's a cultural appropriation of Africanness by Americans. They're not Africans. You're not. You're not. Unless you're born in Africa, you're not African. You are an American. And so this is utter nonsense. Now, yeah, there are a lot of Black Americans who are woefully ignorant about Africa, but there are plenty of Africans who are woefully ignorant about Africa and about America. So it's just silly. Just silly. Another user, Curie US1, says he's defended, saying this has nothing to do with roots. Let's not act like every place in Africa has a grocery store or toilet. She don't sound like she's hating, so you're pressed for nothing. Go be mad at the white folks in the comments saying that store only exists because of them. Well, most of that comment was pretty good until the asinine racist last statement there. Go be mad at the white folks saying that store only exists because of them. Well, that store does exist because of white folks. So anyway. Comrade Q criticized the American education system. Tiffany Haddish, the shotgun scene grocery store in Zimbabwe, is once again incontrovertible proof of the failure of the American education system, especially Black people. Well, that's just a garbage racist comment once again. Utter nonsense. Idiots. America in third place now. So utter nonsense by racist on Twitter. Yeah, it's not. I mean, we have Black neurosurgeon, pediatric neurosurgeon, Black. We have Black presidents. We have Black corporate leaders. We have Black stockbrokers, Black engineers. This is garbage. Black Americans are not treated differently by the education system than anyone else. They just have, in many Black communities, poor cultural values, which lead to a lack of importance for education. Contrast what happened in Jamaica with an American who came from Jamaica at the age of 15 and lived in Baltimore and was gobsmacked at how the behavior and the efforts and the cultural norms of Black Americans in Baltimore were compared to the Jamaicans where he came from. Yeah, utter nonsense. This is just racist garbage by uninformed twits on Twitter. Uninformed twits on Twitter. Exactly right. That's what we're talking about here. Uninformed twits on Twitter. Twitter's so full of this garbage, it's unbelievable. Where the hell is that story at now? I lost it. There you go. Uneducated. Back there. A more blunt response came from Jonah Chukwutru, who said, "You're a stupid woman for being surprised to find groceries in stores in Africa." Nonsense. Well, you're a stupid asswipe, Jonah Chukwutru. Have you experienced Africa? I have, all over the continent. And most Africans have never stepped in a grocery store. Never stepped. Many countries don't even have these grocery stores. So stop being an ass. Her videos started a wider discussion about how Africa is viewed by Western media and the need for self-education about different cultures. While some defend her excitement, many saw it as a sign of ongoing misconceptions about the continent. There are no misconceptions. I lived all over the continent. All over the continent. Morocco has advanced stores and all kinds of things, and rail service and functioning airports and everything. Tunisia, the same thing. In Algeria, the same thing. Egypt, the same thing. And you find that in Nigeria. But you don't find it in Benin. You don't find it in Gabon. You don't find it in Central African Republic. You don't find it in many places. Stop being asses. It's a continent, a diverse continent with 1.4 billion people. Many success stories, many failures. Stop attacking people because they actually are surprised to find it. Let me just sit down and take 10 random Africans from any country in English, in French, in Portuguese, in their own language, and question them about America. Now you'll find out they know jack squat. I'm not going to put a poll up, and I don't want to embarrass people here, but if I ask people, what is the capital of South Dakota? Quick, what's the capital of South Dakota? Who can get that right? Goo. That's funny. Don't know. George says don't know. Nope. Yep. Exactly. Exactly. What's the population of California? Ooh, Arctic. Correct. Yeah, you guys are looking it up now. Actually, Arctic and Charles are among the kind of brighter. Good thing that Arctic is brighter. He's a pilot. We don't want dumb people flying planes. Springfield, Massachusetts. No, it's not. A lot, says Charles, the population in California. It's not 30 million, Charmaine, but a good guess. Fleshton's close, 40 million. It's over 38 million people in California. Yeah, so, we could do this all day. I could pick things, Oh, you did look it up, says Charles. Okay, I thought you might know. Pierre. Yeah. Anyway, the point is, what's the capital of Maryland? Anybody know what the capital of Maryland is? Anybody know the capital of Maryland? How many amendments are in the U.S. Constitution? Yeah, anyway, when was the U.S. Constitution drafted? And when was it ratified? What was the population of America in its first census? These are simple things. What was the population of South Africa in its first census? First census was 1911. Does anyone know that one? I'm going to ask the Africans here. What was the population of South Africa in its first formal census, which occurred in 1911? Anybody know? Anybody know? No, it's not Baltimore. It's Annapolis. You can ask the guys from AfriForum and Solidarity, who I took to Annapolis. Bloemfontein. Huh? What was the last question I asked? Oh, yeah. 9 million says Arctic. Over 1 million says Hendo. 150,000. Look, these are South Africans. Charmaine says 150,000. No. Nope. Anybody know? None of those guesses are even close. None of those guesses are even close. What percentage did whites make up of the first formal census? That should be even easier. Whites in South Africa make up less than 8% of the population. What did they make up in the first census in 1911? What percentage of South Africans were white in 1911? Anyone want to guess? Take a guess. 120,000. Nope, not even close. Slippery Pickle says 2.18 million. That's not correct. 6 million white people. No, I said percentage, not numbers. Percentage. 50%. Nope, R1, that's not 50%. 100% says George. It was not 100% white people in 1911. Vilma's getting close. 10%, 12%. Hendo. Okay, we're getting some good guesses here. Look, you guys are South African, right? Gerhard Steenkamp is still guessing on the population. Yeah. A flesh and lovely place apart from the Naval Academy. Naval Academy is a gem. Chris, you should go watch Skid Marks. They interviewed Johan. I'll mention you, an eye-opener. What's this? I don't know what you're saying, Monray. You're switching Afrikaans. Source, Johan op de Spoor. Oh, that's the name of Fun Hotels, Impalas and Pumas. Oh, okay. We're talking about the arms deal. Okay, gotcha. Yes, the black population skyrocketed after the 1960s. It's actually skyrocketed since 1994. All right, so in 1911, the first census, whites made up 20% of the population. 1 in 5 South Africans was white, a little over 20%. And the population was about 5 million total. Between 4 and 5 million. 1911. Today, it's 63 million. Today, as many people live in the Cape Town metropolitan area as lived in all of South Africa in 1911. Yep, after 1994, the black population of South Africa skyrocketed. In 1994, South Africa's population was 34 million. 30 years later, it's 63 million. 30 million more people, double the population nearly. It's insane. The number of white folks is 4.8 million. And without immigration, that number would be closer to about 6 million or more. Trying to beat the USA in volleyball. Well, that sucks. See what lack of condoms does? Exactly. And since 1980, we've been murdered at 6 per day. Yeah, but the murders don't overcome the population growth. Let's see. Brody Malone, is he going back out on a performance here? USA's in 3rd place now. Jeez. Brody Malone, United States. Oh, he just did his routine. Wow. Oh, he fell off the bar. Shit. Brody Malone missed it. He hit the bar. Were these warm-ups, or was this one he just did? My goodness.
A centimeter cost Brody an all-around final, a high bar final opportunity from prelims. Just to give you.
Oh, that was the prelims. Okay, so now he's actually performing. Oh, geez, I'm glad it was the prelims. So USA's in 5th place now. I wonder if it was because of that. He's the high bar champion in the U.S., but he fell off the high bars. This is a guy whose mother died from cancer. He had a serious leg injury recently. So he's going to go out and do the high bars again. Brody Malone now on the high bars for the USA 4th rotation. You got to have a good one here. He looks nervous. Looks very nervous. Brody Malone gets assisted up on the high bars. He swings. Let's see how he does here. Looking good so far. Whoa, one-handed. Over and over he goes. It's like watching the circus here with the high bars. Good flips. He's going to dismount here in a moment. He's whipping around 2 times, 3 times. He got it coming back down. That time he made it. He held on to the bar. Held on that time. A little bit off on the left hand, but he managed to hold on. Looking good, Brody Malone, so far. See if he can finish it off. Looking good. Turns, rotates. Now going backwards on the flips. Spins. Still backwards. Turns around. Forward facing now. Coming to the end of his routine, I would imagine. Second. Spins around. Spins around. Third time. Fourth time. And a dismount. Brilliant finish by Brody Malone.
The U.S. men are on fire right now.
That was absolutely brilliant performance. He saved the best for last. His preliminary performance was a mess. And Brody Malone, brilliant stuff right there. You cannot say that crap. YouTube takes the minimized view as the stream is not suitable for kids. What are you talking about, Arctic? Say what crap? Seen the news today, UK mass stabbing. I have not. Oh, I haven't seen that. Okay, let me look and see. At least 8 people are stabbed in English Town. This is 4 minutes ago. Southport. Little girl is killed, according to New York Post. 17-year-old was arrested after a knife attack near a northern city of Liverpool. Police said it didn't appear to be related to terrorism. Yeah, right. At least 8 people, including children, were injured in a knife attack in Southport. Yeah, take away the guns. Yeah, there's no other weapon. Take away the knives, no other weapon. Take away cars, no other weapon. There'll always be something. 17-year-old male from Banks, a nearby village, was arrested in connection with stabbings, being questioned according to Merseyside police, who oversaw law enforcement in the region. They said the attack has not been treated as related to terrorism. A number of the injured were taken to Liverpool's Alder Hey Children's Hospital. Wow. Said the Colin Perry, owner of a vehicle repair shop, said it was like a scene from a horror movie. Bar Varathan, who owns a corner store, told the Telegraph he'd seen a number of bleeding children on the street. He also said he saw armed police officers remove a man from a building. Wow. Class for children aged 6 to 11 was taking place at Heart Space, a yoga and community studio in the building set back from the road. Young girl was killed and 7 others injured when a hooded, knife-wielding maniac rampaged through Taylor Swift-themed dance workshop. The horror unfolded shortly before noon in Southport in northwest England outside Liverpool when the unidentified man attacked the children before he was taken into custody. He's a 17-year-old. Witnesses say the attacker wore a black hood when he entered where the event was taking place. At least 25 children were in the event when the attack unfolded. Wow. More than a dozen emergency vehicles sped to the scene. The girls were aged 6 to 11. Good God. Wounded children were taken to the hospital. When I got there, this is one of the employees said, there was a guy who was absolutely distraught. He'd seen 2 children run out of the space and thought they got hit by a car because it was just full of blood. It was actually the children had been stabbed and fallen into the car. Oh my gosh. Insanity, folks. This is insanity. Gabriel gave an updated score from Switzerland on that competition. Stop blaming mental health for dumbass behaving, which is inherent in their nature. Exactly, Chris, exactly. I didn't say it was crazy people. It's a crazy event. It's coaching gymnastics for boys. Vilma, I can't show you that on the screen. I'll be a copyright strike. I'm already dealing with one in rugby for something I didn't do. It looks like they're on a break for the men's team final. Let me take a look and see what other stuff is, updates on the Olympic medal count. So the final is Argentina beat South Africa in the women's hockey 4-2. They were leading 2-1. They lost 4-2. Water polo, Netherlands is beating China right now. And the women's individual saber events are going on in fencing. L'escrime. Handball is taking place. Surfing. Oh, South Africa is trailing in that too in the men's. Tennis is underway. Women's hockey is coming up. Germany versus Netherlands. Beach volleyball, Sweden versus Qatar. And then rugby sevens is at 2 o'clock. Japan versus South Africa for 9th through 12th place. That's 2 o'clock. At 3 o'clock, I'll be covering. There's the Seine, the filthy, disgusting Seine. Paris. Yeah, not my favorite place. Looks kind of polluted, the sky, as the sun sets in Paris. Yep. Anyway, all right, so back to where we're at here in the chat. Extra water tanks sometime. Okay, start of the summer holidays, this happens. Lex is here. Yeah, I see, Lex. Your comments aren't muted. Why are you asking if they're muted? Because nobody responded to you? ANC is not created in one industrial complex for exports or investment for new aircraft factories. That's true. Can Brady Malone juggle? I don't know. Okay, why does Lex think his comments are being blocked? Okay, Anonymous Lex says, you as a military man, please tell me what you know or think the Libyan military base is used for an attack on the Republic or outside. For outside. It wouldn't be for an attack in South Africa. Terrorists don't crap in their own backyard. I talked about this yesterday, about Bad Kreuznach in the 1980s, where the Red Army faction was suspected to be having terrorists in Bad Kreuznach. In fact, they were. In fact, some of those Red Army faction terrorists probably frequented the nightclubs that I went to back in the 1980s, the Canopy, El Barco. Very much. USA in third place right now with 172 points. I think that was just mentioned. Yeah, no, the terrorists tend not to crap in their own backyard. In the West, in cities and towns, they will seek refuge. They'll be quiet. They'll keep a low profile. They'll raise money. They'll recruit. They'll train. And then they go elsewhere to commit their acts. Otherwise, you can't do that in your neighborhood. So what was going on in Mpumalanga, in my view, was probably an effort to train people to help overthrow the government of Libya based on their past experience and their ties. That's what I think was happening. So sorry, Alex, I didn't see that comment earlier, but it wasn't being ignored. Just missed it. Moonchild says, how do you know so much about our country and we know so little about yours? Well, people claim I work for the CIA. They think the CIA is brilliant. I've worked with the CIA. They're not that brilliant. Their analysts are not that great. Some are world class. Most are not. They're just people with government jobs. No, why do I know so much? Because I'm a historian. I'm a political scientist. I'm an intelligence analyst, and I'm a person that's hungry for knowledge. And South Africa is a fascinating place. So there you go. That's why I know so much. Yep. And I read voraciously, and I analyze voraciously. It's awesome. Here I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 books I purchased in South Africa, my most recent trip, plus 2 that were given to me by Maryland. So Maryland is here, hopefully, I imagine. USA still in third place behind China, Ukraine. Ukraine has surged. They had an Olympic medalist who's part of their team there. So that's why we have historians like you, Chris, says Hester. Okay, that's true. That's why I have historians to help clarify things. You didn't mention how I was right, Tommy. What were you right about, Tommy? What were you right about? Did you say 4 to 5 million? Oh, Tommy, I didn't see it. 108, Tommy said 20%. Tommy Sides was correct. In 1911, the first census of South Africa, 20% roughly of the population, it was over 20%, was white. It's like 20.23 or something like that. So you got it correct. You got it correct. I'm sorry, I was too busy looking at Fleshton's comment attacking the Naval Academy, so I missed yours. And there's Marilyn. Okay, I didn't see Marilyn there earlier. I figured she'd be here. Right, so Tommy got it correct. I don't know if that was a guess or Tommy had the knowledge. Americans are on the floor right now. Who's out there? I don't know who this is. Guy's got strange ears. An American out there. It's weird watching the men do this floor routine. Women, it's cool. It's sexy watching the women do it. They're so lithe and slender and muscular and just incredible to watch. Oh, American just struggled a little bit there. He popped up. It's going to cost him points. It's Paul Judah on the floor routine right now for the Americans. And he's looking pretty good, but he had one big mistake there. His routine's still going. I love how they do this little spinning like they're on the pommel horse when they're actually on the floor routine. It's like watching breakdancing, which is now an Olympic sport, by the way. Did you know that? Breaking is an Olympic sport. You got to love it. Anyway, notifications. Somebody's trying to give me definition. I'm not really sure what that's all about. Anyway. Right. Yeah, so USA in third place. Hopefully this will move them higher. Oops, he missed the landing. He's finished his routine. Pretty good, not great. Routine by Paul Judah. All right. Over here, what do we got? Dodgy CIA, the undercover beard is not helping. We'll blow your cover. Well, when the beard's gone, what's going to happen, folks? Moonchild says, have you watched the Ben Shapiro documentary? No, I have not. The U.S. will be in a worse state. Oh, yeah, the U.S. will be disastrous. So last night, Let me see if my phone is fully charged now. I want to do a video on this, but I need to attribute this to who it needs to go to. Now, I've come up with similar conclusions, but this was well stated last night. So let me. I saw this last night. This is from Mark Levin on his Life, Liberty, and Levin. So he said Kamala Harris has radical positions. She opposes school choice. She opposes Title IX, which protects women's rights. She wants to defund the police. She wants to dismantle the immigration customs enforcement. She supports sanctuary cities. She supports nationwide gun registration, and she opposes parental rights. Also, hang on a second. She would eliminate fracking, believes in open borders, would decriminalize illegal immigration, wants free health care for illegal immigrants, wants student loan cancellation, would eliminate private health care, and she believes in infanticide. So those are her radical positions. And then she and the Biden regime are denying the following armaments to Israel: 120 millimeter tank ammunition, 120 millimeter mortar ammunition, medium tactical vehicles, medium air-to-air missiles, F-15s, F-135 engines for the F-35 advanced stealth fighters, JDAMs, joint direct attack munitions. Now, JDAMs are precision munitions, so they hit the targets they're supposed to because they're guided, whereas dumb bombs don't, and they can hit the wrong place. So rather than reduce casualties, we are keeping JDAMs from being sent to Israel. MK-84 2,000-pound bombs, rifles for the Israeli National Police Force, and 30-06 or 3.338 medium machine guns. These are the things that we're denying, plus guided missile systems. We are denying to the Israelis under the Harris regime. Wow. Yeah, so let me run through this again. These are the things that Mark Levin attributed to Kamala Harris, and he's correct. She opposes school choice. She wants black children to suffer in corrupt, inept public schools. She opposes Title IX, which has protected women since 1972, providing that equal funding be spent for girls' sports in high school, not just for boys' sports. She opposes that, wants transgenders to get the same things. She wants to defund the police. She's already tried to defund the police. She wants to dismantle the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Organization, which protects our borders. She supports sanctuary cities, which are criminal and illegal. She supports a nationwide gun registration, which is illegal, and there's no authority for the government to do that. And she opposes parental rights. On top of that, she also wants to eliminate fracking, destroying American jobs, have an open border, which she's allowed to go on for 3.5 years, decriminalize illegal immigration, free health care for criminal alien invaders, cancel student loans, and eliminate private health care, as well as infanticide. These are her positions. This is Kamala Harris. That's who she really is. Mark Levin hit the nail on the head with that summary on Life, Liberty, and Levin. The solution is bigger water tanks, dire straits. Well, you can build dams. Everything Biden did quietly, she'll do proudly. That's a good statement. Marilyn says, I would have thought the head of the CIA would have risen out of the ranks, but obviously not. No, not necessarily. It's a political appointment. You would think that someone would rise from the ranks, but it's a political appointment. And we've seen a communist, Brennan, who is an avowed communist, a member of the American Communist Party. Obama made him the CIA director, and the media never even pointed out that the guy was a communist. He's a card-carrying communist. He's a piece of shit. He's a piece of human feces. And they did nothing to tell people about it. They didn't drone on. I mean, how in the world can we have a communist in charge of the CIA? But Brennan is a communist. And he's also one of the intelligence chiefs who said that Donald Trump was colluded with Russia. Remember that garbage? Yeah. So, no, the head of the CIA doesn't necessarily come out of the ranks. General Hayden was the director of the CIA when after I left the National Security Agency. Michael Hayden has proved to be nothing but a radical leftist since he retired as a 4-star general. General Hayden, the Air Force general, who was promoted to be the director of the National Security Agency. He was running it when I was there as a 3-star general. Then he got his 4th-star, first 4-star intelligence general in history, and he was taken by Bush to be the director of the Central Intelligence Agency, even though he'd never worked there. He'd never worked at NSA when he became the director of NSA. He'd just simply been an Air Force intelligence officer. And so Hayden went there, and then he also was one of the intelligence chiefs who said that Trump had colluded with Russia, and he uses his Twitter account to slander Trump, conservatives every single day. General Hayden is a huge disappointment. I know him personally. I work for him. I don't know what happened to him. I think somebody cut off his oxygen supply or gave him 37 jabs simultaneously for the COVID. Something happened to General Hayden, and it's really sad to see it. But anyway, yeah, so the head of the CIA doesn't necessarily come from the CIA. Leon Panetta was never an intelligence officer. He was a congressman from California when Bill Clinton promoted him to be the head of the CIA. Actually, one of the better CIA directors. Yep, he really was. Hendo blames the Schussbier. I haven't had a Schussbier in ages. Yep. All right. I have not seen the Ben Shapiro documentary, so I can imagine what can be unburdened by what has been unburdened. Yeah, I saw that people. Let's see if Google's actually suppressing the Trump assassination thing. So, Trump. I'm gonna try it. No, I got it. I did a Google search just now, and I got plenty of stuff on it, but it didn't automatically fill because I haven't done it before. So let me bring that up on the screen. I just did a search for Trump assassination. I saw Fox News try to make a big deal about this. Attempt assassination of Donald Trump. I typed in Trump assassination. I've got news stories from 3 hours ago, 13 minutes ago. Trump has agreed to be interviewed as part of the investigation. Local sniper spotted the shooter an hour and a half before. It gets worse every time. So this is news stories. Okay. Wow. So this is all breaking. Trump has just agreed to be interviewed as part of the investigation. Wow. And the local sniper was spotted an hour and a half. An hour and a half before it. So Trump agrees to be interviewed as part of the investigation. Former President Trump has agreed to be interviewed as part of the investigation as attempt assassination. Interview is expected to take place, I guess, soon. Roughly 450 interviews. The FBI has fleshed out a portrait of the gunman. One perspective on what he observed, says Kevin Rochik, a special agent in charge of the Pittsburgh field office. It's a standard victim interview like we would do for any other victim of crime under any circumstances. Local sniper spotted Trump shooter an hour and a half before failed assassination, speaks out. Members of the local SWAT team assisting security for Donald Trump's Butler rally spoke to news about what led to the failed assassination attempt. Wow. Let's hear what he's got to say, if that'll load. Look at this. CNN won't load my link. Look at that. Look at that. That link is, there's nothing there. I try to click on it. It doesn't do anything. Wow. Wow. Isn't that interesting? So they put a link up and then they don't let you listen to the video. Wow. Local sniper. That's CNN. Let me see if someone else has that story. YouTube. Somebody's got it on YouTube already from an hour ago. Local sniper. Oh, CNN's got it on YouTube. But they don't have it on their link? That's crazy. I can't even copy the link. Let's see what happens. So this is 10 minutes long. Where's this guy at?
And that never happened. So I think that was probably a pivotal point where I started thinking things were wrong, because that never happened and we had no communication with the Secret Service.
Wow. Hardly a surprise, no communication with the Secret Service. Anyway, yeah, so CNN they removed the video they put up trying to tell people about that. Not a surprise from CNN, not a surprise. Secret Service director had a valid timeline but refused to release any information when she was questioned. Yeah, I agree. Respectfully, if she wins, all I can say is most Americans have lost their minds. I would agree. Well, not if their election's stolen. So, Tommy says, I'm also a reader of books. I buy them used at local SPCA that are donated to help save the animals. 10 random. Well, that's a good deal, Tommy. Wow. Yep. All right. Okay, cool, says Marilyn. And DuckDuckGo doesn't track or suppress information. You can even search for a woman on it. Yeah, that's true. DuckDuckGo. So is that U.S. cater deployment in CIA? What is cater deployment? No, it's not. No, the CIA is an agency that works for the president. The president's entitled to appoint officers to his government, just like the Justice Department, Defense Department. Defense Department doesn't have to have a defense person. William Cohen was never in the military. Did he even serve in uniform? William Cohen. Let me look him up. William Cohen from Maine. He was a Republican who served as Clinton's Secretary of Defense. Okay. He's 83 now. Wow. Yep. So, did he ever serve in uniform? Let's see. Republican moderate. No, there's no record of him serving in uniform. 1972, he went into Congress. Never served in uniform, but he was Secretary of Defense. Preceded by William Perry and succeeded by Donald Rumsfeld. Yep. He often clashed with Madeleine Albright, whom he saw as a grandstander, too outspoken on policy matters, too eager to use military force. 100%. Cohen was correct. He's an American lawyer, author, and politician from Maine. Served as a member of the House of Representatives and the Senate, Secretary of Defense under Clinton. So his last time in office was 22 years ago when he was in his 60s. He's been quiet since then. William Cohen. Yep. I know. I guarded him at a hotel in Tunis in 2001. Yep. So no, it's not cater deployment. Elsa Vermeulen has looked up the white population of 1920 or 1911, which is 1.2 million. That's pretty close. That's why we didn't have you strip search at Joburg, but drink another shish beer and all bets are off. Strip searched. Even with all the crap going down, we still live in the U.S., giving the opportunity, still the greatest country on earth. It is, Angelique. It is fantastic. Again, I can leave my door open, the keys in the door, leave my car unlocked out here. I wouldn't in town, but I can here. None of my neighbors have stolen from me. There's no robbery going on here, no rapes in this neighborhood, no abuse going on that we know of. Yep. Our electricity is reliable. Our water is clean. Our police are responsive. The schools function here, not around the country, but here they do. Yeah, no, America is an amazing place. Just the government takes too much money out of our pockets and misuses it. Yep. It's a dead link. Yep. What's a local sniper? I don't know. And you've got snipper. You got 2 P's in there. Sniper is 1 P. A local sniper, it would be a SWAT sniper from the Special Weapons and Tactics teams from Butler County, or more likely from Pittsburgh Police Department. Kimberly C. is from Jill's Circle of Friends. Yeah, she is. That's why she became the director of the Secret Service. And local popos were not briefed ahead of speech. That's in the video. Yeah, exactly. Colonel, do you think it's likely the election can be... Yes, I do. I do. I absolutely do, Sue. I'm 100% convinced it can be done again. Yep. Wasn't Cohen a good boxing promoter? I have no idea if he ever promoted boxing. Google attempted assassination of Trump and look at the options. I did. And I just showed it to you. I said assassination. I never put attempt there. Okay. Attempted assassination attempts. Attempted assassination. Where'd it go? Where did it go? No, we don't have burglar bars here. They do in cities, some places, but not here. Where did that just go? It said Google attempted assassination. Now it's gone. What the heck? I do attempt assassination and everything comes up Trump. Trump's detail were never told there was a suspicious person. That's true. That's true. Zimbabwe was a West message to Africa to keep us in fear of what will happen if we dare to challenge powers be. Really, I have no idea what you're talking about, Athena. What are you claiming there? The message that you will keep you in fear of what happens if we challenge powers be? What are you talking about? Zimbabwe has nothing to do with the West. Zimbabwe is run by a corrupt cabal known as ZANU-PF, who murdered 20 to 50,000 Ndebele in the 1950s, who stole farms, most or almost half of which were purchased with the approval of the government, and then they betrayed the people who they approved to buy the farms. And they stole them. I don't understand what you're talking about, Zimbabwe. What? Zimbabwe, we've done nothing except feed Zimbabweans and keep them from dying from AIDS for the past 25 years. What do you mean by that, Athena? Please be clear. This just got posted on BBC. Well, if there's a gold medal for cheering, it would have gone USA. Every routine is being... Oh, no, it is. No, that's true. It is. They're going crazy. The crowd is very partisan American. And America's in 4th place now. Here we go. Very partisan American crowd.
On floor. Opens up. Unique double and a half.
Oh, he stumbled. That's a black American who's performing for the U.S. I don't remember his name. Richards, I think his name is. It's unusual to see a black man do a floor routine like this. He had another skip there. That's going to hurt the Americans. Yeah, no, it's Richard Frederick. That's his name. Frederick, yeah. A very partisan crowd. Oh, that's a nice one there. He did a triple somersault in the air. Yeah, it's a hugely partisan USA crowd in Paris. It's amazing how the Americans got so many in there. You are correct. If there was a medal for cheering, it would go to the U.S. That is a correct statement. She's talking about sanctions. There are no sanctions on Zimbabwe. We need to stop this. Stop it. I mean, how many times do we have to do this? This is just really annoying. Okay. Zimbabwe sanctions. Okay. Let's look them up. So I'm going to the Department of Treasury. Okay. Zimbabwe-related sanctions. You can see this for yourself. Okay. There you go. Zimbabwe. This is Department of State, not Department of Treasury. Zimbabwe-related sanctions. Okay. Let's go see what they say. Okay. Well, where the heck are the Zimbabwe ones? It's supposed to take me here. Okay, that's kind of messed up. It didn't take me there. It took me. There's no Zimbabwe list of. Okay, that's a mistake. They got a bad link there. Treasury takes action. Zimbabwe sanctions. Okay, here you go. Let's see what this does. Okay. Today, the Department of Treasury's Office of Foreign Asset Control designated 11 individuals, including Zimbabwe's President Emerson Mnangagwa, and 3 entities for their involvement in corruption or serious human rights abuses. Yep. Termination of Zimbabwe sanctions program was terminated on March 4th, 2024. Yep. All persons, property, interests blocked are no longer blocked, but Mnangagwa and others are. So the bottom line is this. I mean, this is nonsense. Zimbabwe has never been sanctioned. That's just a flat-out lie. And that, well, USA fell to 6th after Richard's poor performance. Richard Frederick's poor performance has dropped USA to 6th position, but his family is cheering like crazy despite his poor performance.
Every right to be fired up after that performance.
I don't think it's a good performance. We dropped to 6th place. Maybe I got that wrong, but that's what the screen says. No, Zimbabwe was never sanctioned by the United States. We've not sanctioned, despite its human rights abuses. We've not sanctioned the government of Zimbabwe. We've not sanctioned the country of Zimbabwe. Anyone who's stupid enough to buy property or invest in Zimbabwe suffers no consequences. I could go to Zimbabwe today. There'll be no sanctions against me as an American citizen. I can invest in a Zimbabwean business. No sanctions against me. Zimbabweans can invest in American business. No sanctions against them. I can purchase Zimbabwean dollars. They can purchase U.S. dollars. No sanctions against us. That's total nonsense. It's utterly fictitious, Athena. It is a lie perpetrated and spread by failed politicians in Zimbabwe to cover up their failures. Their theft of farms, the destruction of light industry in Zimbabwe, their corrosive theft of the economy for 35 years is the reason why Zimbabwe is in the shithole that it's in. It's not there because of sanctions. That's a lie. That's a total lie. Zimbabwe's exports were not harmed. We buy tobacco from Zimbabwe. We buy whatever goods are available from Zimbabwe. We've sanctioned no goods from Zimbabwe. It's simply a lie. It's simply a lie. Just go do the research. I'm not going to spend time on it now. I've done a video on this a couple years ago. I've cited the Treasury Department and the State Department's actions, the president's executive orders against specific actors in Zimbabwe, none of which ever targeted Zimbabweans. And I was given this line of bullshit by Zimbabweans. Well, you've sanctioned this company, and we can't do any business because of that. Well, that is a company that's under the control of people who've committed human rights abuses and people who are responsible for the theft of election, the rape of MDC legislators, and the murder of MDC political candidates. And we are not going to let that company run by ZANU-PF officials stealing from the company to do business in America. It's as simple as that. We're not going to let Robert Gabriel Mugabe fly to London and go to Harrods and spend all the Zimbabwean money in London that belongs to Zimbabweans. It's not going to happen. There are no sanctions on Zimbabwe. It's a lie by black supremacists bought by many black Africans. Zimbabwe still under. They're not. What sanctions? Athena. Okay, Athena. What sanction? Give me one. You just said heavy sanctions. Tell me one sanction on Zimbabwe. Please. Tell me one sanction. Please. This is why we want this conversation for discourse. Tell me one sanction that Zimbabwe is under. Please. The country of Zimbabwe, Zimbabwean citizens, what sanction is affecting them today? Which one? I'll give you a few minutes to respond, Athena. Thank you for that. But please tell us. Tell us. You won't be able to because they don't exist. South Africa was sanctioned during apartheid, not now. Chris says nobody cares what happened in Zimbabwe. The world has forgotten about Zimbabwe. That's correct. Athena, PK says, my husband's from Zimbabwe. His parents still live there, and you really need to go research the sanctions, why they were imposed. They're not sanctions. Zombie PF. Yeah. No. So I guess we're on this topic now. Mnangagwa was originally listed in Annex to Executive Order 13288 in March of 2003. An Executive Order 13391, November of 2005. Today is being designated pursuant to 13818 for being a foreign person who is a current or former government official or person acting on or behalf of such an official who is responsible for or complicit in or is directly or indirectly engaged in corruption, including misappropriation of state assets, expropriation of private assets for personal gain, corruption related to government contracts for the extraction of natural resources, or bribery. He's also designated for being a foreign person who has been a leader or official or of an entity, including any government entity that is engaged in or whose members have engaged in serious human rights abuses related to the leader or official's tenure. The First Lady of Zimbabwe, Auxilla Mnangagwa, facilitates her husband's corrupt activities. She is designated under this as well. Corrupt Business Network. President Mnangagwa has benefited from corrupt networks of Zimbabwean businessman Kudawashe Regimon Tagwiri, is designated in 2020 for having materially assisted, sponsored, provided financial, material, logistical, technical support, or goods and services support the government of Zimbabwe. Yada, yada. Anyway, so designated Sandra Mpungu and Sakunda Holdings, Fossil Agro, and security officials, Constantine Chiwengo, Defense Minister Mchunguri, Godwin Matanga, Commissioner of the ZRP, the police, Stephen Matumbo, Deputy Commissioner of the General of the Police, Walter Takumfuri, Deputy Director of Zimbabwe Central Intelligence Organization, Juniata van Dijk. Welcome as a member, Juniata van Dijk. And Owen Nkumbe, Minister of State Security, Sanctions Implications. Okay. As a result of today's global Magnitsky action, all property interests and property of the designated persons described above that are in the United States or in possession, control, of the U.S. are blocked and must be reported to the office. Yeah, so there are no sanctions here against the people of Zimbabwe, the Zimbabwean economy, or the Zimbabwean government. Not a single one. Not a single one. So Athena, I'm waiting. Look, this isn't to put you on the spot, but you made the statement that Zimbabwe is suffering from heavy sanctions. I'm asking what the heavy sanctions are. Are Zimbabwean exports blocked? No. Are there tariffs put on Zimbabwean goods and services? No. Because they don't qualify for AGOA, they can't ship things duty-free to America, but they can still ship things to America. Let's look at Zimbabwe-U.S. trade, see if I can find some information on that real quick. U.S.-Zimbabwe trade. Okay. U.S. exports to Zimbabwe in 2022 were 41 million, down 4 million from 2021 and 24% from back in 2012 or 20. Yeah, U.S. imports of goods from Zimbabwe total 87 million in 2022. So we had $128 million in trade with Zimbabwe in 2022. What sanctions? What sanctions? Vilma said, "No go to Zimbabwe again because nearly get locked up as a spy because my red SADF medical card fell out of my handbag." Oh my God! Oh my God! Yeah, so let's take a look here. Now, this one's from 2017. Census. Okay, I'll use the Census Bureau. This is more, yeah, U.S. Zimbabwe trade. This is old OEC information from, oh no, I got 2022. Okay. Now, this is showing we have a positive trade balance with Zimbabwe. It's claiming that in 2022, we exported 51 million to Zimbabwe and we imported 48 million from Zimbabwe. So we're ahead by 2 million. The top product from Zimbabwe to the U.S. was ferroalloys, iron. Yep, that's according to the Organization of Economic OEC. So 2024 U.S. trading goods, this is by month. So this is January to May. It was already 14 million exports and 30 million imports. Wow. So Zimbabwe is way ahead. We have a negative trade this year of minus 16 million. So yeah, there you go. Termination of Zimbabwe sanctions program, President's order, termination with respect to the situation in Zimbabwe. Yep. But again, this is a lie. ZANU-PF, not by Athena. Athena's not lying. This is a lie told by leftists and believe because, you know, they're black. So it must be true. No, it's not true. It's a lie. We've never sanctioned Zimbabwe. We sanctioned Rhodesia. We never sanctioned Zimbabwe, though. Anyway, just saying. I'm just saying, folks. That's the truth of the matter. It's important to be factual. Athena's not speaking, so I don't know if she felt embarrassed or attacked. You shouldn't feel attacked. You're not being attacked. You've opened up another opportunity to talk about something that The only time there was pressure on Rhodesia was during the Ian Smith era, and it was only from 77 onwards. Prior to that, no real pressure on them, despite them being sanctioned. Anyway, Athena, thank you for your input. But I mean, if you've got something to prove me wrong, I'm willing to hear it. But it's simply not true. Zimbabwe is suffering because of Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe is a mess because of Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe is a mess because of black thieves in ZANU-PF. That's why. People feel they're privileged. And it started with Mugabe, and it won't end until ZANU-PF is disintegrated, obliterated, and wiped out. And it may not end then, because this culture of corruption and patronage is inbred into the political system in Zimbabwe now, which is a tragedy. It's an absolute tragedy. It shouldn't be that way, but that's the way it is. But they're not poor and suffering because of America or because of the UK or because of the West. That's a lie. And I've disputed this over and over, and I'm so sick of seeing this perpetrated by academics in Africa, by black supremacists, by apologists in the West who claim this. It's simply not true. It wasn't really the breadbasket of Africa in Ian Smith's time. That's actually not true. It was self-sufficient during its time, Moonchild. The statement that it was the breadbasket of Africa came after 1980, when things returned to normal, as normal as could be, and up even with the murder of the Ndebele, grain production continued through 1980s, increasing, and that's when it became known as the breadbasket of Africa in the 1980s. And that was all destroyed by Mugabe's theft of land. Zimbabwe was one of the largest exporters of tobacco in the world. That's correct. The U.S. is, well, U.S. I think still is the largest exporter of tobacco. I could be wrong on that. But yes, Zimbabwe is a major exporter, British American Tobacco being a major producer there. Yep. PK says, also, I'm a woman. I know most people think I'm a man, but I'm not. Well, how will we know what you are, PK? All we see is PK. When I see that, all I think of is Patrick Kelly, a Green Party member in Germany. That's what I think of. Whenever I see PK, you make me think of Patrick Kelly. So, yep. Anyway, so hopefully Athena hasn't run off, because we're talking facts here, folks. We're talking facts here. We're talking reality. Talking reality. Anyway, local sniper thing, interesting. But there are no sanctions on Zimbabwe, and they never cause the economy to suffer. That's simply not true. They cause corrupt organizations that are owned by politicians who are stealing from Zimbabweans to suffer, and that's what they're intended to do. And they did it. They did it. Well, a lot of people think CB is a dude too. CB's not a dude. That one I know. Yep. Anyway, yeah, it's unfortunate that so much propaganda gets out there. Zimbabwe has never been sanctioned as a country by the United States. Simply untrue. The murder of 20 to 50,000 Ndebele didn't get sanctions on them. The theft of farms did not get sanctions on the country. No, but of course, corrupt officials in ZANU-PF have been sanctioned. And so what? So that's why Mugabe went to Malaysia for his medical care, because he couldn't go to New York or to London. Yep. Moonchild, I knew you were female. I figured that one out a long time ago. Yes, PK is a clap, a head clap. Yep. Yep. Yeah, guys, there's lots of ladies watching this program. I think it's the hair. I think it's the hair. Anyway, yeah, crazy stuff. All right, cool beans. So, yeah, that's the reality we're living in, folks. That's the reality we're living in, is that they're still lying about Zimbabwe. Again, this is not directed at Athena. If you're still here, Athena, you're not part of they. They is the political class. They are still lying about sanctions in Zimbabwe, blaming the West for Zimbabwe's problems. No. Let me just make it very simple for you, okay, for everybody. All right, hang on a second. Find something to write on here. I need a blank piece of paper here. I had my whiteboards here at one time, but I don't know where they're at. So if you take a piece of farmland, okay, let me do this. So I don't have perfect colors here, so work with me on this. Okay, so the purple will be the water, okay? This will be the water source, okay? That's the river, okay? I'll put river next to it. River, okay? And then I will put, we'll use this green for the road. I know it's not the best thing, so we'll do the road, okay? Okay. All right. So if we make a farm, this is a farm in Zimbabwe. I know it's very juvenile looking. Sorry for that. The river is the water source. The green is the road that runs through it. Okay. So if you take a farm and you do the following, This is what you do with the farm. I need something that works well. Okay. Use the red, okay? Okay. And you divide it up. You steal a farm from someone who purchased the farm in 1983 with permission of the government, who had first right of refusal. So the Zimbabwean government could have bought it, but they refused. They'll claim they didn't have money, but the British government gave them 63 million pounds from 1980 to about 1992 when John Major stopped it because senior members of the ZANU-PF party were stealing the land and making farms for themselves. So if you take the farm and you then divide that farm up into plots, okay, which is what they did in the farm redistribution program. They broke it into plots, okay? So here's what happened. Instead of this being one farm that was integrated and all together, this is what they did. And I'll show you the problem with this. Well, one of many problems with this. Never mind the fact that these farmers got no training, no assistance, no finance, no tractors, no equipment, and most of the stuff on the farms was destroyed by the farm invasions. So if you take that farm and you divide it up like this, okay? So now you've got the green road and the blue river, okay? The purple river, all right? So what's going to happen here? What's going to happen here is the people up here have no access to the road or the water. So they can't irrigate their crops because the people down here have access to the water, right? These people have access to the water, not the people up here or the people over here. So they're screwed. None of them have access to the road except these people here along the road. So only the people along the road can get their goods to market. Only the people along the river can irrigate their crops. So what happens? You have dozens of subsistence farming failures instead of one successful commercial farm. How did people in Zimbabwe benefit from that? Nobody benefited from that except ZANU-PF. You create starving subsistence farmers instead of having successful commercial farms run largely by white Zimbabweans, but also by black Zimbabweans. There were 4,300 commercial farms in Zimbabwe. 4,000 roughly, about 3,800 were owned by whites, and the rest were owned by blacks. And they destroyed that. Total collapse of the farming sector. And oh, by the way, Zimbabweans weren't buying John Deere tractors. They're buying locally produced tractors and the parts for them and the carburetors and the tires and the rims and all the stuff was being manufactured locally. When you destroyed the farming sector, they no longer purchased those things. So the farmers not buying farm implements hit the light industry in Zimbabwe, pushed them out of business, and then all the people who survived off of that business died, and it's a knock-on effect. Zimbabwe's problems are a consequence of Zimbabwe, not sanctions. Thank you for the super chat, Erica 70 Rand. Cat room gone quiet, sideways quickly. Sideways or quiet? What's sideways? All right, so have you always said you would shave your beard off when we came out of lockdown? I did say that, but we're not out of lockdown, Moonchild. But for those not paying attention, my beard, since I came back from South Africa, was here. And look how much shorter it is now. It's about 6 inches shorter than it was. I just shortened it again yesterday. It's getting shorter. And eventually I'm getting a haircut too because I look like a hippie. But yeah, so the beard is getting shorter. And I did say when the lockdown stops, but the lockdown still continues. When Trump gets back in office, maybe it'll end. But right now we still have lockdown restrictions and nonsense going on. And we still got people trying in the government to push mask wearing back on us. It's happening. It's happening. Who said they're a lesbian? What? Some folks at first thought I was an old Afrikaner. Yeah, they did, Hendo. They did. They thought you were. I set them straight. Erica gave that super sticker. Thank you for that. All right. What else? The Ultra freight ship carrying fertilizer off West Coast is broke. Oof, that's not good. That's not good. Did they get the oil out, Garrett? I haven't seen any updates on it. They were trying to get the tons of oil that was in it out. Oh, Chris's reaction to the chat, says Miss Pumba. The mask and all that. I thought people were over that already. Nope. Nope, they're not over it. They're not over it, folks. They're not over it. Not even remotely. Anyway, I think Athena might have left or just gone quiet. And Athena, there's no reason to go quiet. You're appreciated here. I do appreciate your comments, but that's not true about Zimbabwe. That's simply not true, and I won't let that fly. I won't let that fly. But if someone wants to come back and show me the sanctions, someone tried that. When I published the story, people tried to come back and they came back and said, no, well, this is what happened, and it simply wasn't accurate. I had to tear that apart too. Yeah, Tommy likes my map. Well, thank you, Tommy. I am quite the artist, am I not? This is a map of Matabeleland. Here, I'm gonna draw mountains on it now. I don't have any more colors left. I don't have any colors left to draw with. So let me. What we got left here? I got yellow. Let's try that. But yellow won't be the best one for mountains. Let me try and see if that works. Let me draw some mountains on here. There we go. I drew some mountains. Okay, so my map now includes mountains. You ready? Okay. See the mountains up there in the corner? This is where. Come on, it's over here. This is where Matopas National Park is. Cecil Rhodes is buried right here. Let me show you where Cecil Rhodes is buried. He's buried on a flat surface right here in Matopas. So there's that map, and Cecil Rhodes is buried right there. Okay. Loving the beer, says Eric. Yeah, a lot of people do. It's an excellent explanation of the situation, says Charles. Reference the map. Yeah, exactly. No, it does. It explains it very well. And this is what happened all over Zimbabwe. And most of these people can't farm because there's no way they can farm. They can never become wealthy. They have too small a plot. They are consigned to poverty and misery and subsistence into perpetuity. This is what the ANC wants for you. The only difference between this in South Africa is the ANC wants this for you, but you won't own these plots. These plots will be owned by the government of the day, and you will be obedient to the government of the day. If you're not obedient to the government of the day, they will take away your plot and screw you. This is what the EFF wants. This is what a significant portion of the ANC wants. This is what black supremacists want. They want to control the land. They want traditional communal Kosi chiefs to be in charge of your destiny, not you. But we are individuals, ladies and gentlemen. We are individuals, and individuals make up this world. Well, hang on a second here. Good afternoon. Who's this? Just a moment. Sorry about that. This is about veterans issues. I'm going to have to go take care of that when I'm done. Anyway, where was I at? Yeah, so that's what they want for you guys. They want misery. Oh, I was reading individuals. That's when I got the phone call. So individuals. Okay. So let me just find this very quickly here. That's the Articles of Confederation. I don't want that. What I want is up here in the front. Where the heck is it at? 81, page 81. It's not in the front, it's in the middle. I don't want to get this wrong, so I'm going to read from it. When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which laws of nature and nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to separations. Hence why we have this Declaration of Independence. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by the Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundations on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light or transient causes, and accordingly all experience has shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are unaccustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations pursuing invariably the same object evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government. and provide new guards for their future security. Such has been the patient sufferance of these colonies, and such is now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former systems of government. The history of the present King of Great Britain is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over these states. To prove this, let facts be submitted to a candid world. We are individuals. Life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. It wasn't Q. Oh, Q from James Bond. Bond. Q, what other gadgets you have for me? Can you tell me where M is at? I heard she was killed in a Scottish castle. Oh, wasn't that in Quantum of Solace? I'm not sure. I get confused by all the Bond movies. That's right. I don't have a lot of time because I got 1 hour to do the Olympics rugby. Yep. All right. French toast, Montebello pop. What are you talking about there? Anyway, what doesn't kill you makes you strong. We had sanctions back in the day. We made our own vehicles. Yes and no. Yes and no. Nice to have a non-stop water and electricity in Petersburg, says Garrett. Well, that's great to hear. Petersburg. Is that like in Polokwane, Petersburg? And Hendo says, where have you been? All right. Let me check in on the Olympics real quick. The Americans are still at it. This is a long competition, this team thing. And they're on the pommel horse now. Who's up there? I think that's the dude that wears glasses. Kind of the geeky guy. It doesn't look like Brody Malone. The Americans. He's looking pretty good on the pommel horse here, but the British guy was incredible on the pommel horse. He did this one move, which is almost impossible. I don't know how he did it. He just kind of like fluttered in thin air as if he was levitating. It wasn't. It's just that was an appearance. All right, this is a nice job. This is what the British guy did. He's walking up and down his hands on the pommel horse. This is incredible. The physicality of this, the coordination, the synchronization, the artistry. Brilliant work by the American on the pommel horse. Wow. They're freaking out. It was perfect.
They may well have done it.
Oh, my goodness.
Let them know, Stephen.
Wow. That was an incredible performance. We just happened to turn over for the pommel horse, and he is way excited. The Americans are jumping up and down like they may have actually, they're predicted to maybe get a bronze medal, but he's jumping like they got a gold medal here. My goodness, they look incredibly happy. It was the dude who wears glasses. Wow. An amazingly diverse team of two white dudes, one a geek, one kind of a studly looking, a Asian fellow, Asher Hong, and a black fellow, Richard Fredericks. Wow, this American gymnastics team is incredibly psyched. Well, let's see what the score is when it comes up here in a moment. They are stoked. They are stoked. Wow. Man, it would be amazing to see Americans win a medal in men's gymnastics. I haven't done it since Beijing. It'd be even more incredible if they could pull off a gold. I don't know, but that was an absolutely incredible performance right there. I guess they're done because they're taking his number off the back of his jersey there. They are pretty stoked. Wow, the crowd is going wild.
That's what it's all about, boys. You say 2008. You're talking about Sasha Artemis.
Wow, they are really stoked, this team. They worked well as a team together on this. Lots of photographs being taken right now. The guy looks like my little brother. He reminds me of my little brother when he puts his glasses on. He looks just like Jerry. Am I okay? Yeah, I'm okay. There's a special at Macy's. What? I'm waiting for the score to come up here. What the heck is this? Idaho Falls. Who's calling me from Idaho Falls? Man, I have all kinds of numbers coming in here. People calling me all the time. It's crazy. All right. It's not a secret. My brother's been on the program before. He was in the chat long before. What is going on here? Still waiting for this to come up here, folks. Sorry. It's taking a while for the score to come up. And these judges taking too long. So we'll see when the Americans come out on this. And we're just waiting to see if they get this medal. This would be incredible if they pull it off. Still waiting. It's taking a long time. Anyway, back to this. So, and my little sister used to pop in here too. Yep. All right, folks. I think we'll wrap it up here. Interesting conversation. I don't know if this score is going to come up here. 5 members this team. I thought it was 4. I guess there's 5. How'd they do?
They got him. They got him big time.
They did it. Did they get a medal? I'm waiting for the score come. The score has been, they've announced the score. The Americans are excited, but they haven't put it on the screen here yet. Waiting to see what the score is. Come on, put it on the screen here, folks. This is live from the Olympics right now, 8 p.m. Steven Nadorsik got a 14.866. That's an incredible score. Wow. For his work on the pommel horse. So what are they at now, the Americans? That was incredible. They're not showing it. Anyway, we'll see if they get a medal here. But they're very happy with that performance. So I think Chinese guy is on the high bar now. Anyway, we're going to wrap it up there. And I got to go run around and check on this stuff. They're in first place, says Gabriel. Wow, 257. Wow. Fantastic. All right, that's it, everybody. Thanks for being here. You'll be able to catch me on Rugby Ascendant for the 7s coming up in less than an hour. Thanks a lot, everybody. God bless. Take care. We'll catch you later on. Cheers. Cheers. Thanks for being here. Really appreciate it. Bye-bye.